All right, we are live. Good evening and welcome to another episode of This Week Unloaded. I am your host, Rich White. Hope everybody's having a good day today. All right, it looks like my logo's working too, so that may be possibly. Yeah, so if so, that's an improvement over the last couple of weeks. Let's see what it looks like over on YouTube. It's showing a big logo anyway. I don't know if that's quite right. Why am I hearing all this? All right. So anyway, I completely lost track where I was because I noticed I had my logo was showing up. Pack Rat Static's out there on the YouTube side. So evening to you. He says he has to reboot his phone. Okie dokie. Let's see. Take that off the screen. See if that's what. There we go. Yeah, it's showing it is showing my logo correctly. Yay! For some reason, when my intro video stopped playing, instead of taking it off the screen like it's supposed to, it just left the big version of my logo in the middle of the screen. But it's right now. I had manually had to take that off the screen. So, but yeah, my logo's working. Yay! I got that fixed. If anybody who's watched the past couple weeks, you know that for some reason uh, it was only showing a big green dot instead of showing my logo like it is now. So, but it's working now, so that's good. That's good. I got that fixed. No, I don't see. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. But I say I don't see the crawler. I was like, duh, I wasn't looking down far enough. It's there. It's me being stupid. All right. Three Toe Jack. Who's Three Toe Jack? Anyway, hello. Somebody with a Yosemite Sam logo. Must be somebody who watched the channel before they know who I am. So, anyway, Three Toe Jack. That's a new one. Yeah, I don't know if that's somebody who just changed their name. Oops. Or if that's a new viewer. If you're a new viewer, hello. Or if you're an old viewer who I just forgot, well, hello to. It's one of those days. My brain is like not working. I probably know who it is and just don't remember. Ah, Boomstick. Okay. Did you get another channel banned or something there, Boomstick? Or you got another new name? Oh, I hope the video you asked me to watch on X was the one about the key ring pack rack, because that's the one I watched. Key ring and the power strip. And I left a comment on there too. Yeah, for those of you who aren't subscribed to Pack Rat's Attic, go over there and subscribe to him when you get a chance. He put out a video about a bunch of key rings he got on Amazon and power strip that he bought for his wife on there. So, so dang it. 2 strikes on 2 channels this week. You're going to run out of names, man. Where you're going, you're going to run out of names. Let me see if I can get that off there. Hey, I managed it. Whew. Man, I'm stronger than I thought. Anyway, let me see here. I commented on your video about the keyring, about what I did, because I had an issue with key rings. I went and bought, let's see if my camera turns, this from Ace Hardware. That's a solid steel carabiner. I'm not breaking that. And I just put the ring that was from the one I broke on there. So, and yeah, I noticed your necklace too, your Thor's hammer. This is a Thor's hammer crucifix. It's it's one of the tools that the missionaries to the Norse used to convert them to Christianity. This is actually a replica of one that was found in a tomb, a Viking tomb, where it was a Christian Viking tomb. Originally, it was a necklace, but I kept breaking the leather necklaces that it was on. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to throw it on my keyring. So, and that's that's bronze, the metal it's made out of. So, I just thought since you were wanting me to watch that video, and I watched it, thought I'd comment and show you exactly what I was talking about when I said I got the carabiner. Oh, I didn't see that video on your list. I just saw the most recent one I saw was the one you did on the keyring. So that's the one I watched. I didn't see one on there about the Supreme Court decision. Sorry. I guess I got the wrong video. I was wondering why you were asking me to watch that one, to be honest. But yeah, that's the one I saw. Now it's showing up. It says it only was posted 14 minutes ago. So that might be why. That's probably why I didn't see it, because I watched before that. I was looking at your channel before that. So yeah, that's only been posted for 14 minutes, Pack Rat. That's why I didn't see that one. So no, I didn't get. Yeah. So yep, that one. Like I said, that one just says it just posted 14 minutes ago, and by that point, with it being a 22-minute video, there was no way I was going to watch that anyway, because I wouldn't have had enough time. But yeah. Like I said, I was wondering why you wanted me to watch the keyring video. After I watched it, I was like, you asked me to watch this before tonight's show. I don't know if maybe you'll have information in there, just that he just was going off on a little tangent when doing his video on the keyring. But no, nothing in there that was pertinent. uh, anyway, I still watched that because that was the most recent upload you had at the time when I looked at your channel. So, and like I said, I did leave a comment on that one. Yeah, that happens sometimes. He says that was take two that he uploaded. Take one, his mic was dead, so no audio. Yep, I know how that goes. I've had issues with audio and stuff in the past. I've got video from the Great American Outdoor Show this year where no audio. So, never did upload that one. I thought about uploading it as well. No, I thought about doing clipping it and uploading it as shorts, but I don't know if I never got around to doing it. But yeah. But anyway, anybody who wants to pick up one of these carabiners at your local Ace, I think this was like a $1.50, and yeah, it's got a weight limit of 200 pounds, so there's no way you're going to break it using it just to carry your keys on. So, and it's got a strong spring on the gate and everything. Yeah. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. This, anyway, the only reason why I brought that up is because the video that I watched from Pack Rat earlier. She says he forgot to turn the mic off while he went to take his nap. That'll do it. That'll do it. Depending on the brand of microphone you have and when the last time it was charged, depending on how long you're laying down for a nap, yeah, that could definitely drain a battery. I've had it happen with a uh, I don't want to say cheap, less expensive, shall we say, microphone. But that's why I always recommend if you're going to get into this, you need to get yourself a good set of microphones. I don't know what one you're using, or like I said, it could just be because you hadn't charged it in a while too. But like the Ceramonic that I'm using right now, the one I mean the one I'm using right this minute, even right here, this one here. It's a good mic. It's got a good battery life on it. I just keep it plugged in since I'm using it just as my desktop mic anyway. I got it attached to the headphone cable. So, but yeah, this mic can set you back. I think it's $70 for one, 90 for two of them in a set, and it works really well. The only problem with the Ceramonics is the clips like to break, so you gotta be careful because the clips on them are fragile. I'm trying to remember what the other brand is. My good mics are the ones that I use for trade shows. DJI, something like that. I forget. Gizzard would know off the top of his head. I don't remember. Like I said, another show. I think me and Gizzard Gary both use the same microphone. So yeah, you don't know when you charged it. Okay, yep, that's what I figured. Probably something like that. But, for anybody else out there, is basically what I was uh, just giving anybody out there who might want to start doing this kind of thing. Make sure you have a good set of microphones and whatnot. Yeah. Packer says his was 20 for the pair. Yeah, I had a pair of like the $20 ones, and I don't think they lasted a week at the Great American Outdoor Show. To be honest, so I want when I got my second set, I got the Ceramonics, and the dog lost one of them. I never found it. Don't know what she did with it. For all I know, it could have been in the dog. It could have ended up in her belly. I have no idea. And then the second one, the one I got attached here to my microphone cable, the clip on it busted. And Gizzard said he had a pair of Ceramonics that the same thing happened. Not that the dog ate the one of them, but that the clip broke easy. So that if you're going to go with the Ceramonics, just be careful with the clip on them, and whoever's out there. And you can buy them by going to Gizzard Gary's Amazon. He has that's one of the things he has listed on his Amazon page. That and I believe the damn it, DJI or DGI. Damn it, I can never remember. Anyway, he's got those listed on his Amazon page too. So yeah, yeah. Sometimes the $20 ones will work really well, and sometimes they're not. They're a hit or miss. It's Packer say he uses hearing aids, but the charging case shorted out, waiting for a new one. That's always good. It's always good when things short out, especially when you're waiting for a replacement and then you're like stuck between a rock and a hard place because you don't have what you need because the one you were using broke before the new ones arrived. Packer said his hearing aids are Bluetooth. Ooh, interesting. So you can use those as earbuds for your phone too. Then cool. I mean, it sucks that you have to use hearing aids, but at least if you can have to use hearing aids, they're also useful for something else at the same time, right? And dual purpose. My audiologist keeps calling, wanting me to get some of the uh, tinnitus hearing aids that they have now. I ain't got the money, honestly. And I got to get back into the VA. But my hearing, yeah, I have some hearing loss, but it's not bad enough to where I need a hearing aid for it yet. Knock on wood. Get yours from the VA. Yeah, that's where I would get mine, but I got to get a VA doctor's appointment schedule. So that's what sucks about the VA. You can't do anything unless you have a doctor's appointment first, and then a doctor has to refer you to it. I can't just call them up and say, "Hey, can I see an audiologist?" Nope, you gotta go through your doctor first. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I wish VA coverage worked just like regular health insurance. It would make things so much damned easier. You wouldn't have all this goddamn red tape. Any of you veterans out there, you know what I'm talking about. If you got to deal with the VA, you know what I'm talking about. That that's a topic for another day. Before we get into the Supreme Court decisions, I was going through my YouTube videos and caught one where Maryland is planning to do at least a partial ban on 20-year-old cars. Packer said he got his hearing aids fixed and eyes checked on the same day. But a ban on cars that are 20 years or older. That's going to get rid of a lot of inexpensive cars. Those pickup trucks that Rob D likes to tell everybody they need to get. You can kiss them goodbye. And I believe they're basing this on something that California has also proposed. The more states get rid of and stop people from buying used cars. The less used cars are going to be on the roads, which means there's going to be a lot less affordable cars out there or classic cars. I mean, I guess when Obama did it with cash for clunkers wasn't good enough for them. Now they want to get rid of even more cars. You know, be interesting to see what, if anything, if they go through with this, what, if any, exemptions there are. Because there's a lot of old cars that are worth money that are more than 20 years old. Yeah, and more states start doing this. That's gonna whittle down that market. There's cars that are becoming classic cars now that are going to be gotten rid of by laws like that if they go through. What is it? 25 years, and a car is considered a classic at that point. Something along those lines. So any car that would qualify as a classic would be subject to potentially being banned. Now, granted, there's not a whole lot of cars from the late '90s that are something I would care about, but there are some. I mean, you get the old Nissan Frontiers from the late '90s; those were a nice little pickup truck, and those engines would just go. Packard says he can hear the lawsuit printers going brr. Yeah, yeah. Be interesting to see what happens on that. Well, look at California; they're out there wanting to change what tires you can have on your car, changing what the tire composition and everything is. Once the left figures out they can regulate something, they're going to do it. The old give it an inch, it'll take a mile. Well, that's in full effect with laws like this. And I live right next door to Maryland. Literally, right. Maryland is a 5 to 10 minute walk from my house at most. All I got to do is walk up that way a little bit, go that way, and then go across the bridge, and I'm in Maryland. That says California has gone nuts. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I go north on the street I live on, make a left at the first intersection, go walk up to the light, make a right at the light, and keep walking until I cross the bridge over the Potomac, and I'm in Maryland. It's not that far. So if they do this kind of law, it's going to cut down on the available used cars in this area that high school kids, college kids, etc., would buy because they have limited budget for what they can buy, and usually those are the kids that buy the old cars that fall into that 20-year category. Them and collectors, right? Because you're either going to get one that's really good condition, that's a collector's item, or you're going to have one that's going to have some miles on it. It's going to be beat up a little bit, and you'll see high school kids or college kids buying that because they're cheap. And yeah, those are the cars that they're wanting to get rid of now. Well, most of the used car dealerships in this area, Pack Rat, are in Maryland. So he says either that or fled the market. So if you're buying a, I think we have one used car lot here in town, and then we have three dealers. We have a Ford, a Chevy, and a Jeep, Dodge, Ram dealership, but they don't. That one doesn't sell used cars. The Ford has a small selection of used cars, and the Chevy has a small selection, but not anything that really makes a dent in what their sales are every year at either one of them. Most of the cars that get traded in at either one of those, the Chevy or the Ford dealership here, actually get sent to their larger dealerships, which are in Maryland. So, yeah. The used car lot that's here in town isn't that big. They have 10 to 15 cars on the lot at any time at most. It's not a big dealership. It's not a big used car lot. It's just a small little thing. Tim, that hurts. Stop that. Timmy, get off. Yeah, I know used car dealership in my state, but like I said, we don't have a large used dealership here. We got the we got two of the new car lots that sell used cars. Like I said, they you might find 5 to 10 used cars on their lot at any given time because usually when they get something traded in there, they ship them to their larger lot dealerships, which are their uh, main ones in Maryland. Basically, the dealerships we have here are basically like satellite dealerships of their larger dealerships up in the Cumberland area. In fact, I think they're both owned by the same uh, ownership group. Both the Ford and the Chevy dealership here in town, I believe, are the same ownership group, and they have a much bigger dealership up in the Vale, Maryland, which is a suburb of Cumberland, which is their Jeep and Dodge and all that. Yeah, but they got a huge used car lot there. That's what I'm saying. If Maryland does this, they're going to drastically cut the amount of used cars in this area, even in this state, because like I said, most used car lots are in Maryland. The most of the used cars that get traded into the two dealerships here in town that deal in used cars get sent to Maryland. So that's that's where things are going to go haywire. Even and that's how states like Maryland can affect and California can affect other states. It's like every car in the country has California emissions because of California, and the manufacturers aren't going to make cars specifically just for California. So everybody's got to deal with the California emissions, even though we don't have anywhere near as strident emission laws as what California does. But we're stuck with their crap because how big California is. Oh, we got Mr. Gizzard Gary in the chat. How are you tonight, Giz? Gary, did you fall asleep? Oh no.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm all right. How are you?
Okie doke. Hope you weren't waiting long. I was on a rant and didn't know, just noticed you were there.
No, I was still setting up my YouTube chat and everything, so I was on another tab. Of
Okay.
course. What's going on?
Yeah, we were just talking about Maryland's proposed law where they may ban cars that are 20 years or older.
Okay.
Hmm.
Why?
It's Maryland.
Screw Maryland.
I mean, what other reason is there? They don't need another reason than simply the fact that it's Maryland and they're going to copy what California proposes. I believe
What are people?
California has also proposed doing so.
What are people in the hood gonna drive? And that's
That,
half of
yeah.
Maryland. Come on.
Well, you got in college and high school students, right? I brought up before you jumped in. I brought up about how there's two different classes of cars that would be nearing that 20-year range, right? Classic collector's items or cars that have a lot of miles on them that may be a little beat up that high school and college kids will buy because they're cheap. Not everybody can afford to go out there and buy a newer car, especially with the way the automotive market has been lately.
Well, all the financial experts are telling people to buy used vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently, I'm an idiot for buying a new car. I just wanted one. I'm sorry. Dave Ramsey said buy a used car.
Dave Ramsey's been saying buy a used car for 30 years. Let's be perfectly honest. He's always said buy a used car.
Or you could be like Warren Buffett and drive the same car for 30 years. But it's a Cadillac, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's well maintained.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way. As long as you keep everything in good shape, you can drive them forever, as far as I'm concerned. Things will need to get
Mm-hmm.
replaced, but including about everything after 30 years, you'll probably need new seats, new carpet, everything. But those things can be replaced. So
Mm-hmm.
keep everything replaced, you still have a new car, pretty much,
Yeah.
as long
I
as they
mean,
sell parts. And for a price, people will custom make parts for you, especially if you're rich like Warren Buffett.
yeah, I remember when I was a kid, the only new car that either side of my family had that was brand new when my father and my uncle both bought a Fiat when they first came over in the late 70s. That was it.
My parents my parents bought a 72 Delta 88 Oldsmobile in 71. Had it until it was totaled out in 76. That was the only new vehicle I think my folks ever had that I know of. Let's
Yeah,
put it that way. Everything
my
else they drove was used.
yeah. Other than that Fiat, my father always bought a car that was a couple years old, and my stepfather he was always buying like old Novas because he loved the Chevy Nova. So I don't know how many of those we had when I
Well,
was
to be
growing up.
fair, A, Dad was a mechanic, and B, he worked at a dealership where people traded in vehicles, so he knew when something good was coming in.
Yeah,
So,
my father for a while was a mechanic at Ford until he had a car fall off the lift on him. He was lucky he could walk again. They did for a while. They didn't think he was going to walk again. They thought he was going to be paralyzed from the waist down, but he got better. But never had full complete use of his legs. Even though he could walk, wasn't doing he wasn't going to be running any marathons. You know what I mean?
hmm speaking of used vehicles, I was out on a ride this afternoon and I went down and saw my old Jeep. They've got it all fixed up, all cleaned up on the lot, ready to sell. They got it looking nice, I tell you what. But I don't want to buy it back. But somebody will get a good vehicle out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't drive it crazy. It's okay.
Yeah, I was shocked when we traded in the Escape and that they had that thing sold within hours. We traded it in that morning and they had it sold by that evening. Like,
Of course, I drove through the Ford lot today, and they have no less than 4 Broncos sitting out in the lot. It's like you didn't have those there when I was looking for
mhm,
vehicles.
yeah. The only thing I could come up with was that they already had somebody who wanted a used Escape, and we just turned and traded ours in at the right time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There, there's no other way that they would have sold it that damn fast.
Well, vehicles of that size and especially Escapes, because that's a fairly popular model, has been for a few
Hmm.
years. So yeah, they'll go pretty quick. You would think there's always a market out there for a a smaller SUV and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not that fast. I mean, they were going to be
Mhm.
doing a brake job and stuff on that thing before they sold it because it was due for a brake job.
Now the other car I test drove when I bought this is still there, so
Hmm.
maybe I made the right decision because they still haven't sold it. Not that I care. I finally got the baby seat installed in mine now, so it is officially ready for the family now.
And it
And
had the
even
it
it
had the
has.
anchor.
They're actually in the fold of the seat. There's actually cutouts right there. It's just
Hmm.
about impossible to miss where those anchors are. It's like this is too easy.
Yep. Yeah, they
Yeah, it
make
was
those for
super
you.
simple.
Yeah, you cannot help but see that those are there.
Well, I didn't look, but once I looked for them, I felt down in between. It's like, oh crap, right? They're right there.
I mean, no offense to barbecue if he's out there watching and just hasn't said anything, but barbecue in a Ford can see where the anchors are. They make them that obvious. I mean, it's you can't miss where those are at, which is nice because you don't have to go digging through the seat to find the things. You know.
Yep. And I finally got a sunshade, so which I needed because starting yesterday, we've got about a week of 90-degree temperatures. It's a literal heat wave. It's like I couldn't have timed it any better to buy a sunshade.
Barbecue's like literally just tuned in. What the f?
Of course, we're talking about you.
Uh-huh.
Ears are burning, I tell you.
Hmm.
But nah.
No, we were
And
just talking.
in these, I'll go ahead. I was just going to say, in these super hot temperatures, yesterday I was at the museum all day giving a presentation, and I knew it was super hot outside. So as I was getting ready to pack up, I just opened up my app and remote started my vehicle.
Hmm.
Man, in about 4 minutes, that thing was nice and cool. It's like, this is a way to live. I tell you what, I could get
Yeah,
used to this.
yeah, but yeah, we were just talking about how easy it is to find the baby seat anchors in the Ford's barbecue. Nothing bad about you.
No, not really. But I'm not the one who dogged you. It was Rich, in case there's any question. You should come in here and tell him about it.
Uh-huh.
There's probably a link.
Yeah, he should have a
Actually,
link.
actually, anybody could come in here. And I shared this out on my channel.
Woohoo!
So yeah, the people, they're just flooding in, I tell you. Of course, nobody's watching YouTube, I guess, on a Sunday night much. Of course,
No.
it's summer. They're probably still out doing stuff, out the pool or whatever. Denny's not, though. Denny's right
Yeah,
here.
there's Denny.
Of course, it's always summer in West Texas. So.
Yeah. Well, Denny might be late because he may have stopped at Chick-fil-A. Granted, it's not
I
Wednesday,
don't
but
think I don't think he eats Chick-fil-A every night.
well, no, it's not. They're not open on Sunday either.
Oh, that's true. They absolutely are not open on Sunday. 'Cause I can remember the year I was at the NRA convention down in Houston, and they had Chick-fil-A counters in there on Saturday, but they were all closed on Sunday,
Hmm. Yep.
which
On
kind of sucked
Sunday,
because we were looking for food to eat. Like crap.
on Sunday, he probably has to slum it and go to Wendy's or
KFC. Oh no, nobody eats at
No,
KFC anymore. Just don't
maybe a
eat at
Popeyes.
KFC.
Popeyes has a good chicken sandwich too.
Used to. Um, from what I hear, Popeyes has really went downhill the last year or two. So
Yeah, I
I
haven't been,
used to love me some Popeyes.
I haven't been to one in a while. Closest one's like an hour and a half away. So.
Well, it's an hour drive for me, and I'm not going to drive an hour just to eat takeout chicken. I
Mm,
can get takeout chicken. In fact, when we had our genealogy presentation, we had a lunch break for about an hour and 15 minutes. So I and a couple of friends went downtown to this place I'd never been to, and they had a really wonderful chicken lunch there. So I need to actually check out my local places more. This is just a storefront that they opened a restaurant in. It's like, okay, this is pretty cool.
yeah.
So
Denny said he had Panda Express, so he had fast food Chinese.
I don't know if they're all the same or not. I've eaten in a Panda Express before. Panda tastes a lot like chicken. I can tell you that much.
Hmm.
And I would love to have some Chinese. I don't think I'm really supposed to eat it, but boy, it does sound good.
Denny's saying that their Popeyes isn't very good.
Can you buy booze on Sunday in Texas? I think you can. Kansas, you didn't used to be able to, but even here now you can. So
It depends on if it's a restaurant or not in West Virginia. Like you go into the 7-Eleven here, that's also a liquor store, and the liquor store part's closed on Sunday. You can't get into it.
we used to have some real archaic liquor laws here in Kansas. Uh, the last 3 or 4 years or so, they pretty much went away. Because you realize you're losing out on a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm. Well, car dealerships are closed on Sunday. We were just talking about them. That's a business that's closed on Sundays.
Are big city ones closed on Sunday?
Hmm.
Because I can remember a time when on a Saturday afternoon you didn't dare drive through a car lot looking at cars, or a salesman would be out there to meet you wondering what you're looking at. But anymore, afternoon, they're gone. They're open usually in the mornings on Saturday, and that's it. Well, I guess, not a whole lot of people buying cars anymore. So, but I think
And
you'd want to be there in case they were.
Vanessa must be behind because she's talking about hearing aids. That was we were talking about that at the very beginning of the show, so she may be behind.
But no, that was pretty much the excitement of my day. I just got really bored around 3 o'clock, and it's like, I want to get out of here. I don't care. And I found some reason to drive the car about every day for the last 2 weeks. It's like, there's something I got to go do. I'll get over it.
Hmm.
It'll be like the Jeep. That Jeep used to sit out there for 3 days at a time and never move. Whoa, God.
One of the cats made one of the other ones not very happy. Now they're chasing each other. Yeah,
That's
there's barbecue.
interesting.
What Denny just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For those who don't have the YouTube chat, Denny's plant-based journey says in Texas, car dealers can be open on Saturday or Sunday, but not both. Sometimes they will have a special on Sundays, but they have to close for Saturday if they do that.
That's a dumb law. I'm sorry. What sense does that make?
Well, I don't know. Like maybe if you want to have like an Easter sale, you got to close the Saturday the day before. So that you can. I don't know, but yeah, it is kind of silly.
I can't think of any good reason to have that law.
Oh. And we've been joined by Guns and Barbecue, who is muted in case he doesn't know.
He's been talking this entire time, probably.
Mm-hmm. And Vanessa
Or
says
maybe not.
she got caught up. Yeah, she was behind.
Yeah, that's why we told you. We wanted to make sure you'd get caught up. Good deal.
Yeah.
Yep, saying stuff again. I hate coming in and this just has me automatically muted. I don't know why it does that, other than the fact that it's Rumble and it sucks ass. Anyways, what's the law? Like, do they require Walmart to close one day a week? Do they require gas stations to close one day a week? Like, idiotic. Also, Chick-fil-A is open on Sundays. Not all of them, but there are some establishments that are. Usually they are located in places, though. For example, the Chick-fil-A at the convention center where the Pitt Panthers college team plays. That one is open on Sundays if there's something going on at the venue. And the Chick-fil-A in what is it, Union Station there for Amtrak in Chicago, open on Sundays. See, there's always an exception, gentlemen.
Yeah, but those are special cases. I mean, generally speaking, Chick-fil-A isn't open on Sunday. Like your little local corner Chick-fil-A probably not open on Sundays.
I don't have a Chick-fil-A on the corner.
Uh, I don't either, but there's one up in LaVale, Maryland that's in a
It's
supermarket parking lot that's not open on Sundays. That's the
Yeah.
only
it's
one in the area.
60 miles away in front of a mall,
Mm-hmm.
in front of a dead mall, but that kind of goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Denny says ones that are in sports facilities are probably open for every game, even if it's on a Sunday. Yeah, they got to be, or they're not going to make any money because
Exactly.
a team goes on the road and they're going to be closed for a week. You know.
I know when I was growing up, we would always, Sunday morning after church, we'd usually go out for lunch. And so restaurants that were open on Sundays did pretty good business.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of course, this was years ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yep, there was this
Well,
buffet restaurant that we used to go to after church all the time when I was a kid.
Old Country Buffet. All right.
No, it was a little independent one that was in one of the shopping centers in the North Hill section of Pittsburgh.
It's your fault. That's why they went out of business. You guys didn't go to any. Jerk.
No, I've been to Old Country Buffet before.
I have too.
I was saying the one we
What's
went
the
to
other
after
one I've
church
been
was.
to? Golden Corral. We used to go to Golden
Mm-hmm.
Corral all the
Mm-hmm.
time back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Golden Corral used to be awesome.
It's so gross now.
Uh-huh.
Surprisingly, like, their steaks aren't bad. I hate saying that, but they're really not.
That's because they're constantly cooking them. They don't last long.
Oh, 100%. Saying it, and it's not like it's a giant piece of steak, probably 4, if you're lucky, 6 ounces worth of steak that you get each time you go up there.
But that's it. You can go back multiple times. By the time you're done, you could have ate 32 ounces of steak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I like is when they cook the steak in front of you and you can pretty much judge the doneness yourself. It's like, yeah, I want that one.
I go up and they're like, "How do you want it?" I'm like, "Well, that motherfucker's still mooing."
Then you
Normally, their
cook it
eyes
in
bug out
front
of
of
their head.
me. I'll tell you when to flip it. A lot of times they'll do it. It's like, all right.
Slap a fresh one down there, Jack. All right, slap it on
Okay,
there.
turn it.
Great, flip it. Flip it again. Great. Just
Yeah, that's about perfect.
Good job. Where's your manager? I'm going to tell him you deserve a raise.
The last time I went to Golden Corral, I had my veterans hat on, and the guy cut me off. It had to have been a pound, 16-ounce steak. Threw it on my plate. I was like,
He's like, all
Jeez.
right.
"Oh right, yeah."
He was hoping to
Two
get any
live
riches.
Two Live Moo's never been to a Golden Corral or a country buffet.
Old Country
Wow.
Oh,
Buffet, you're missing out. Golden Corral, you're not missing out anymore. So back when I could still see and I was driving truck, I mean, because Old Country Buffet, I heard they pretty much closed nationwide. But a lot like Ponderosa, there's a couple that are still surviving. We actually have one here in PA. There used to be 2 or 3 left in PA, pretty much all on the western side of the state here, and there's only one left in Butler. There was one over in Warren, Ohio, and I heard that one closed too. But the Ponderosa and Butler is still going really strong. So, but anyway, so I was driving truck. I had a trainee. We're down somewhere in New Jersey. We had to go to a Home Depot. We got there, I mean, 12 hours before our delivery. I was really pissed off that day because um, like I was having to try and come up with ways to get in a full day's work for my trainee so he would get paid. Um, Not to mention the fact that I was only getting paid for like 150 miles. I was like, I went off. Anyways, I digress. Sorry. We get to the Home Depot, and sure as shit, there's a friggin' Old Country Buffet. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" He's like, I don't know. Probably gonna call the wife." I was like, "Yeah, you're going to dinner. We're gonna have some Old Country Buffet." He's like, "I don't have any money." I was like, "I'm buying."
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I wasn't missing out on that, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna let him just eat a friggin' thing of like ramen noodles or something. Like, I was like, "Mm." So we're eating good tonight. Later. I'm
Have
busy.
I eaten raw beef? I have. Not a lot of it, but I have sliced a little bit off the end of a steak and eaten it when I was barbecuing. Yes, I have. I won't lie to you.
I don't think I ever have
What's that?
eaten completely raw
Raw
beef.
beef. I've eaten it. Not a lot of it, but a bite.
Gary lives dangerously.
Hmm.
Oh, this was when I was young.
I'm not saying I haven't. I'm saying I can't remember if I have.
See,
I may have at some point. I don't know.
when I was in my teens, mom and dad had a barbecue grill out back, but they pretty much liked me to do all the barbecuing. So when we had family gatherings, I was in charge of cooking everything out there. So it's a pretty cool job to have, really.
Oh, I bet.
In case anybody's wondering, no, I haven't forgot. We do have we do have two topics to get to, but we're we got to get
Somebody just jump in.
They did.
fucking rumbles out there in the YouTube chat.
Oh,
Oh, I heard a ding, kind of like StreamYard does.
No, nobody's
That
jumped
was
in,
weird.
I
and
said, didn't think
Rumble
Rumble
doesn't do that.
did.
No, Rumble doesn't do that. So I don't know.
That's why it was so weird to me because it's like I've never heard that before on Rumble.
But yeah, anyway, the Supreme Court did drop not just the vampire rule being overturned, but
Hmm.
also dropped two immigration rulings this week. One
Rich is really
canceling
excited
it,
about those folks.
huh?
Said you're really excited about those.
Mm. One canceling TPS for Haitians and Syrians. TPS being temporary protected status, what prevents them from being deported if they made it to the country. And the other one having to do with asylum seekers. And this is the left on this one is claiming that, oh, it's a victory for Trump. It's Trump, Trump. The policy in question was put in place by Obama, not Trump. So Which one do we want to cover first, guys?
The Ford Maverick.
That are sitting out front.
Oh, that wasn't an option?
No.
I just figured that's like always an option on your show.
No. Only when Jason Stewart's here.
Oh, your better people drive Fords.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the first one first. Makes sense.
And then the second one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, but which one was dropped first?
The one that you just mentioned first.
Oh, so do the which one did I mention first? The
Good
TPS one.
Lord.
This fucking guy. This fucking guy, I tell you.
Are you new?
Yep. I forget things that happened 5 minutes ago. Oh no, no, it was Mullin v. Doe was the first one I mentioned. That was the TPS case, which terminated TPS status for Haitian earthquake victims and victims of the Syrian war, civil war. We're just going to look at the synopsis. I'm not going through the whole ruling. So that's what's nice about the Supreme Court rulings and federal court rulings in general. They give you a syllabus which basically covers the whole ruling without going into all the jargon and everything.
Your
Maryland
syllabus.
could learn something. Anyway, the case is Mullin, Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, et al. V. Doe, et al. Certiorari granted by the United States Supreme Court, obviously. The case was argued on April 29th of 2026 and decided on June 25th of 2026. So it took less than 2 months for this case to be decided, which is crazy fast for the Supreme Court.
Well, really, they just heard it really late. This was one of those ones that had to have been like, hey, we need to hear this one right now. It's a kind of a dire matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was crazy fast that this got heard that quick and decided that quick.
Yeah,
Usually it's going to be more than 2 months between hearing a case and having a decision rendered.
Oh, far more. I say because typically they start in the fall with hearing everything, and then they release all the decisions, in June, July.
Yeah. The way it starts. The question presented is whether respondents who challenged the termination of temporary protected status for aliens from Syria and Haiti are entitled to orders postponing the terminations during litigation. Congress created TPS in 1990 to provide short-term humanitarian relief for aliens who cannot safely return to their home countries. Although designated to afford temporary relief, or designed rather, TPS designations in practice have often lasted for decades. Syria received a TPS designation in 2012 because of extraordinary and temporary conditions related to the repressive regime of the Bashir Assad. Why does it say of the Bashir Assad? And in September 2025, the Secretary of Homeland Security provided public notice a Syria's TPS designation would terminate. 7 Syrian nationals sued in the Southern District of New York, asserting claims under the Administrative Procedure Act to stop the termination. The district court concluded that the plaintiffs were entitled to interim relief. The Second Circuit denied the government's request for a stay. Haiti received a TPS designation in 2010 after a devastating earthquake. And in November 2025, the Secretary provided public notice that Haiti's TPS designation would terminate. 5 Haitian nationals sued in a district court for the District of Columbia, asserting claims under APA and charging that the termination of Haiti's TPS designation violated the constitutional right to equal protection because it was motivated by race. The district court granted interim relief, and a divided D.C. court panel declined to issue a stay. The government sought a stay and a writ of certiorari before judgment in both cases. This court granted review, consolidated the cases, and deferred ruling on the stay applications. In other words, they saw both cases were similar and combined them together and just heard it as one case. That happens quite often. Before we go any farther, let's look and see what exactly TPS is.
Well, heck, sometimes you'll even have where a couple of these cases are going up and they'll be like, hey, why don't we join together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the attorneys for both cases sometimes will put a petition to join the two cases together.
Yep.
Okay. There's a damn it, I lost the definition now. Somebody was playing around on my damn web browser. God damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah, I had exactly where I wanted it to be, and
You want me to play copyrighted stuff for you?
no.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can make the Price is Right sound. I got it ready. He's no fun, folks. No fun at all.
I did it myself.
It's not the same.
Here we go. Okay. What is TPS? The Secretary of Homeland Security may designate a foreign country for TPS due to conditions in the country that temporarily prevent the country's nationals from returning safely, or in certain circumstances where the country is unable to handle the return of its nationals adequately. USCIS may grant TPS to eligible nationals of certain countries or parts of countries who are already in the United States. Eligible individuals without nationality who last resided in a designated country may also be granted TPS. In other words, say you were living in Haiti but weren't actually Haitian, you would fall under Haiti's TPS because you lived there. Like, say you were a
So
relief worker or
all these
something
different
along those lines.
states have their own tire pressure system, huh?
Yep. TPS means temporary protected status.
So when I drove a truck, it meant tire pressure system.
Temporary protected status. Am I sharing this? Yes and no, because I keep forgetting you got to add it. But yeah, temporary protected status is what we're talking about. See there, it's right there in big bold letters. You may have trouble seeing it, but everybody else can see it.
I'm editing photos. I can't see the screen.
Yeah. Temporary protected status. So. And that the Secretary may designate a country for TPS due to the following temporary conditions in the country: ongoing armed conflict, such as a civil war, what Syria's was issued for; an environmental disaster, such as earthquake or hurricane, or an epidemic, which is what Hades was listed for; or other extraordinary and temporary conditions. So, yeah, basically, they're temporarily allowed in the country. During a designated period, individuals who are TPS beneficiaries who are found preliminarily eligible for TPS upon initial review of their cases, prima facie eligible, are not removable from the United States, can obtain an employment authorization document, EAD, and may be granted the ability to travel within the states, or they may be sequestered to the state they're in. They may not be allowed to leave, depending on how the TPS certification was given.
Keep it up, or we'll sequester you. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like all those cats that you have sequestered at your house. Like how I use that
not,
one.
I'm not the one. I've attempted to throw them out the door, and she brings them back in. So it's not me.
If I keep this up, Gary, he's never going to get through this first one.
Once granted TPS, an individual also cannot be detained by DHS on the basis of his or her immigration status in the United States. TPS is a temporary benefit that does not lead to lawful permanent resident status or give any immigration status. However, registration for TPS does not prevent you from applying for non-immigrant status filing for adjustment of status based on immigrant petition, and applying for other immigration benefit or protection which you may be eligible. So even for these Haitians that are claiming that they're being discriminated against, if when under TPS they did not apply for permanent status, that's basically saying it's on them. And by
Yeah,
the
you
way,
gotta make sure you check the right box.
and if anybody wants to follow along, I do have the links to everything we're talking about tonight, as far from Scotus down in the description below. Reading the notes. Ironically, respondents themselves, we're back to the SCOTUS decision, respondents themselves offer a race-neutral explanation for the government's action. Namely, that the current administration, which has terminated every TPS designation that has come up for renewal, simply opposes the TPS program as it has been implemented in the past. In other words, these idiots in their own argument killed their own case.
I love when things like that happen.
Mm-hmm. The court assumes, for the sake of argument, that heightened scrutiny applies and that it must determine whether a discriminatory purpose was a motivating factor in the decision to terminate Haiti's TPS designation. Because application of that standard calls for consideration of the context in which the challenge statement was made, the immigration context is an important factor. None of the cited statements by either the president or the secretary was overtly racial, and in substance, all expressed policy views that could rest on race-neutral justifications. Viewing all the relevant evidence, my respondents are unlikely to prove that race was a motivating factor in the decision to terminate Haiti's TPS designation, and it follows that they are not entitled to interim relief on their equal protection claim. Mayotte is the portion of this case that was originally the Haitian lawsuit. Reversed and remanded. Alito J. announced the judgment of the court and delivered the opinion of the court, except as to Part 3A. Robert C. J. and Thomas and Kavanaugh J.J. joined the opinion in full, and Gorsuch and Barrett J.J. joined except for Part 3A. Thomas J. filed a concurring opinion. Kagan J. found a dissenting opinion in which Sotomayor and Jackson J.J. joined. Imagine that, the three left-wing justices all dissented. But yeah. Basically, they told him, nope, your TPS status is no more. Thoughts on this one? Anyone? Anyone?
They they don't get tires anymore. No tires for them.
Nope, nope.
They're tired of tires.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This whole article sounds like a retread.
It's the actual Supreme Court decision. It wasn't an article.
No, you read a synopsis, not the actual decision from the Supreme Court.
No, I read the syllabus from the decision.
Syllabus, synopsis, same difference.
Doesn't have the same traction.
Yep. I wonder how many more tire puns we can come up with.
I don't know, but it's going flat.
Not yet.
May not be going flat, but it's losing air.
Packrat says, what all the people with TDS are forgetting is that the T in TPS means temporary. So you think they're going to start deporting Haitians and Syrians now? Somehow, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot being deported all at once.
ICE is having a hard enough time as it is.
Mm-hmm.
They should send them to Iran. That'd be a good place.
And I ran so far away.
No, speaking of Iran, I saw earlier people were posting on X, and somebody posted on YouTube as well, that the Iranians once again broke the ceasefire.
I heard we bombed the shit out of them after that.
Mm-hmm. You'd think they were a bunch of masochists or something.
Rich knows all about masochism.
Packrat says he thinks that we need to start an international moving business. I've said it before. Just give them all a parachute, put them on a C-130, and then push them out the back once you're over their homeland. Crash course in
Count to
skydiving.
10 and pull the cord. You may live.
Well, no, you don't have to. You hook up onto the line, and as you're going up the back, the parachute automatically deploys. No need to pull the cord. All they got to do is remember to roll when they land.
Do they have to fold their own chutes?
Um,
It is advised.
yeah, they probably just have them be supplied by the military.
That costs money.
These people are already being paid to do that. So, and the military doesn't cost that much. They don't pay the soldiers enough as it is. Packer says an AC-17 holds more. Yeah, but I don't. Does the AC-17 have the capabilities for airborne operations? The C-130 does. I don't know if the C-17 does. The
You open up the
C-17,
door, they can jump out.
the C-17 is purely a cargo carrier. It's not as much of a airborne airborne operation platform. Granted, yeah, C-17 is a big plane, but C-47, you just open the back door, or C-130, C-47 too, for that matter. But that C-47 is like the precursor to the C-130. It's
Just take
works.
all the DC-10s that have been grounded and say, here, you fuckers can take these home. Might make it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't goose that throttle too much. The engines tend to come off.
C-47s are also equipped for airborne operations. If you can find one that's still operational. Yeah, they can use the chute and make a pup tent out of it. Packrat's like, yeah, they can use the chute for shelters when they land. Yeah, you can make a pup tent out of it. Where most of them are going, it's not going to be too cold. But some human rights organization would probably throw a fit. So they won't do that. It would actually be cheaper than that. Putting them on a jet, flying them home, having to land the jet and then take off again. Packer said the C-17 and the C-5 can do airborne drops. That's a hell of an airborne operation if you're using the C-5. If you guys don't know what a C-5 is, that's one where the tail and the nose both completely flip up so that they can load like tanks and stuff onto it. It's a big plane. Yeah, I mean, C-17 also can carry the Abrams. Pack Rats, or Vulcan Rumble saying C-141 is a big paratroop dropper. Yeah, C-141, you can drop a lot of people out of one of them too. C-130 will be better because it's a prop engine, doesn't use that much fuel, won't use as much fuel as the big jets would. And you can just fly them from Texas right across the Mexican border and back. Short distance, just run a routine circuit of them between, you just keep dropping little groups at a time. I mean, if you were going a longer distance, like if you got to airdrop them over Syria, then one of the jets might be a better decision. But for most of the illegals in this country, short little hops across the Mexican border, just use a couple of C-130s. And a C-130, you don't need an actual airstrip for. When you land it, you can, if you have to, you can land that in the desert and take off again. That's what they were made for.
I was in a desert with a horse with no name.
Did it get a flat?
No, but it had to get retreads. Had to call a farrier. That was a really pricey bill. Turns out he doesn't like working in desert heat.
Packer says there are no C-141s left in service. They were all chopped up after Vietnam. National Guard was still using them in the 80s and 90s. Used to see them all the time flying over Pittsburgh from the Air Guard base. Those and C-130s.
Maybe that's the only place they were in Pittsburgh.
Well, actually, they've been Moon Township, right outside of Pittsburgh.
So, what kind of bracket you got for tonight?
None.
You dirty son of a. I got myself in here and you're not going to have a bracket?
I didn't realize that was a condition of you joining.
Always.
That means Gary's got to start doing brackets too.
No, it's not in my contract with him. However, he should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I signed people to long-term contracts so I don't have to deal with this shit.
Let's move on to the next decision. Supreme
Fine.
Court. This is from NewsNation. Supreme Court rules asylum seekers may be turned around,
Hold on, which
siding with
nation?
Trump. Huh?
Which nation is this news from? It says NewsNation, but
Yeah, this says
does it say, like,
NewsNation. It
what?
doesn't say which one.
Oh, son of a fake news.
The original story was actually in The Hill. Basically, they're just reprinting it. It was written by Zach Schoenfeld and Rebecca. I'm scared to try and pronounce this name. Bitch. Or something.
Oh, I was going to say, is it spelled Kuntz?
No.
It's cunts.
No. It's Beitsch.
Or Kuntz. Biatch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sounds like
Yeah,
Beisch.
exactly.
You said Beistch.
Bietc T. Okay, Beitsch.
That's too
Yeah,
many.
I'd go with
Probably a damn German or
Beicht.
something like that.
Beicht.
Yeah, yeah.
The SCH
Oh, it's
should make
definitely
a school
Germanic.
sound like
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Beicht. Beicht.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
What's the
thinking. It
first
is
name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca Beicht.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. She
Yep.
is definitely from the Reich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a definite Germanic name.
If we
No
got
doubt
any
about that.
Krauts out there who could help us,
Yeah. Barbecue's probably close to the pronunciation. I took German in high school. I'm not even trying to pronounce that one.
It's probably Beisch. Beisch.
Yeah, yeah, something along those lines.
Beach. Beach. It definitely does sound like what you were afraid of, though, when you say it the second way I
Uh
said
huh.
it.
Uh huh. You
Oh
get
my
what I'm
god!
saying? I don't know if I
Hey,
want to try pronouncing this.
when she was in school, holy
Oh,
shit!
yeah, I know, right?
it's probably a married name. Hopefully,
It's even worse for her
I
husband.
know. Does that make it better or
Hey,
worse?
bitch! I didn't call him a bitch. I called him bitch. It's his last name.
Uh huh.
her middle name's probably Karen.
No, it's Alexandra Rebecca A.
Wow.
Why can't it just be Anna or Ann? Rebecca Ann. That
Something
actually
with an
sounds
A. It doesn't matter what.
asshole.
I'm sure she has an A.
We're
Mhm.
using all the bad words tonight, folks.
May have T's and an A for all you know.
Yes, it's one of those nights. Oh, Denny has to take off.
See you, Denny. You kick ass.
Have a night, Denny.
Hope you win a knife this week, but not on Gary's show because I'm winning that.
You don't even know what I'm giving away because I don't even know
I
what
don't
I'm
care.
giving away
I don't
here.
care. Don't care. I call dibs.
Okay. Anyway, back to the article. Since I think we solved what the name is. If not, we're close enough. The Supreme Court on Thursday ruled 6-3, again, along ideological lines, that the government may legally turn back asylum seekers who are attempting to reach a port of entry before they hit U.S. soil, greenlighting a now rescinded immigration policy the Trump administration wants the right to potentially revive. The policy, called metering, began under former President Obama and ended several years ago. It enables border officials to turn. By the way, guess who ended it? Bet you never guess.
Biden.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Anyway,
I'm a pretty smart guy.
mhm.
You understand that, Lieutenant Dan?
I've always heard you were a fart smeller.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it enables border officials to turn back migrants before they can physically cross the border from Mexico into the U.S., preventing them from making an asylum claim. Under federal law, a non citizen who arrives in the U.S. is entitled to apply for asylum. But migrants who are turned back under metering technically never leave the Mexican side of the border, so the government argues they are ineligible to apply for legal protection in the U.S. In ordinary speech, no one would say that a person arrives in a place, for example, a house, a city, or a country, before the person enters the place. Justice Samuel Alito wrote for himself and the 5 other conservative justices. An alien who is standing in Mexico does not arrive in the United States by attempting and failing to set foot in this country. An alien arrives in the United States only when he crosses the border, he added later. The
Well, I
court's three
mean, they
liberal.
flew over it like probably half a dozen times before they crashed their ship. So
Mhm. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented. Justice Sonia Mayor read her dissent aloud from the bench, which the justices reserve for when they want to express their strong disagreements in a case. She said under the majority's interpretation, the MS St. Louis, a boat that carried many Jewish refugees fleeing the Nazi regime, would again be turned away. No, because they could be granted TPS first, you dumbass. The court's illogical interpretation is driven almost entirely by a fixation on a single word, in, Sotomayor wrote. Words, however, must be read in context and with attention to how they fit into the statute as a whole. Oh, goody, here we go. It depends on what your definition of in is instead of is. Same.
What?
Remember Clinton's it depends on what your definition of is? Well, this is it depends on what your definition of in is.
I think
Basically what her argument is. Huh?
Nothing. Please continue.
Sotomayor said the law requires border agents to process all migrants that arrive at a port of entry. Yeah, and if they get turned away, they can't apply for asylum. Okay, so what? Since 1917, Congress has required immigration officers to inspect non-citizens who arrive at ports of entry to determine whether they may enter the United States, she wrote. The system is designed to ensure that the government processes each person seeking to come into the United States to determine who should be let in, who should be turned away, and who should be allowed to apply for asylum. She chastised her colleagues for allowing the government to circumvent all of these mandatory procedures by having U.S. immigration officers stand at the border and physically block non-citizens from setting a foot onto U.S. soil. The suit was originally brought in 2017 by immigrant rights group Otro Lado and 13 asylum seekers after the Obama administration began metering the year prior in response to overcrowding at ports of entry, particularly in the San Diego area. Oh, goody. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the dumbass on the court, in her own 5 pages, the one that can't define what a woman is, in her own 5-page dissenting opinion, argued the court never should have taken up the case as metering is no longer being employed and the Trump administration has no concrete plans to reinstate the policy, chiding the majority for a rush to greenlight this retired practice. Meanwhile, Sotomayor said it's become clear with time that metering had little to do with capacity issues, noting a whistleblower report alleging the policy was used as an exclusion for turning away, or an excuse rather, for turning away migrants who would otherwise make an asylum claim. She blamed metering for creating the dire humanitarian conditions at the border in which migrants from across the globe were left vulnerable as they camped at the border in hopes of being processed. Okay. So basically, what the dissenting justices are arguing is that we need to let everybody who at the border yells asylum into the country. No. Because there are people at the border trying to make asylum claims who are not eligible for asylum. For example, if you are from Guatemala, your point of asylum is the southern Mexican border. You don't get to cross Mexico and try and claim asylum in the United States. That's not how it works. What do you guys think about this one?
For the dissenting judges, sounds like a lot of activist bullshit.
If they want to go to an asylum, I say let's put them in one.
We could build one in Mexico.
Can I go to one?
Build a little holding facility for them.
I feel like I need to go to one after joining the show.
Mm-hmm.
Then they might throw you out as being unhelpable.
You're essentially in one now.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, the inmates are running it.
This idea of like we're just living in a simulation, man, with shit that keeps happening in my life, and it's not even like big stuff. It's just little things, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, last week coming home, George Strait, the fireman's playing on the radio, And then Lesbian 1 and Lesbian 2 went to cover band concert. And just by chance, like the same time I'm listening to the Firemen on the radio, it's just on FM radio, not like, put it on with a CD or anything. On FM radio, I finally get signal back while we're driving back, and she sent me a video of the cover band playing The Fireman by George Strait. I was like, what are the friggin' odds? Like, I don't know. I'm starting to believe it, guys.
I don't know. There's some stuff that's been going on. I don't even think somebody could sit down and write and take it serious, even for a simulation. Be like, no, nobody would believe this is real.
That's why they're writing it. Friggin' aliens, I tell you. Friggin' aliens.
Yeah, this making it to the southern border doesn't mean that you get to apply for asylum. You have to meet certain standards, and just because you don't want to live in Mexico or Guatemala or Nigeria, Nicaragua, whatever country, doesn't grant you the right to automatically apply for asylum if you make it to the southern border.
They'll never take me away from you. Nothing that
And
100 men or more could ever do. I felt the
there
rains
are
down in
plenty of people
Mexico.
that make it into the U.S. and apply for asylum that are denied and have to get out anyway. Just because you make it here and you say asylum, asylum, asylum doesn't mean that you're going to be granted asylum to begin with. So if you want to apply for asylum, go to the embassy. If you got a U.S. embassy, a U.S. consulate in your country, go there. You can apply. Well, people don't have to come to the United States itself. They can go to a U.S. embassy or consulate, which are, by international law, the United States, and apply there at those facilities. If that's not good enough for you, and you think that you should be allowed to sneak into the United States and apply for asylum, try that in China and see what happens to you. Just saying.
Do people go to China for asylum? I'm thinking probably not.
No, there actually are some. There are people that have gone to China and sought asylum. Basically, because the country that they're in borders China. It's one of the criteria for being able to apply for asylum in another country is that the country that you're in has to be in contact with the country you're applying for asylum in. You can't just run from 5 countries over and
Why
seek
don't
asylum.
Canadians apply for asylum?
Yeah, Canadians, if there was a legitimate reason, could come from Canada into the United States and apply for asylum. People in Russia, because of the border with Alaska, could come to the United States and apply for asylum. People in
I feel
Guatemala,
like
if they want asylum, they would have to go to Mexico, Belize, or one of the other 2 countries that I forget which ones they are right now off the top of my head, border to their southern border.
I feel
Going
like
from Guatemala
Canadians
directly
have a
to the United
legitimate.
States to apply for asylum is not, you don't qualify that way.
Yeah. No, I believe Canadians have a legitimate reason to seek asylum in the U.S.
Well,
Their 2A rights are being severely trampled on.
Western Canadians, I would agree with.
Well, the Eastern Canadians don't care about their firearms. The Western ones do, and I think we should offer them asylum, and then just be like, "Hey, Canada, you can keep Ontario and Quebec and all that. We'll take everything else. We'll give you the same deal that we gave the French for the Louisiana Purchase. You're welcome."
Mm-hmm. Banzai run, Wayne.
Banzai!
I had to explain to DJ why Ron and I do that. He didn't get what we were doing.
You really like trees.
Mm-hmm. I literally had to explain to him the Karate Kid and everything. Like, Jesus Christ, really? And the one Mini Wayne short. It's like, oh, dude, I can't believe I'm explaining this.
I can't believe you're re-explaining it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was explaining it for your benefit because you're not a Ron Wayne channel member, so you didn't see where I had to explain it to him.
I used to be. But then they stopped taking my money, and not Ron Wayne himself. YouTube for a long time. And then it's one of those deals where, like, ask Gary. Like, actually, I tried for a very long time to do memberships, and it wouldn't let me for a very long time. Then it finally did. But by that time, like, all the ones that I had joined, I just out of sight, out of mind thing. Eventually, I'll get back there. Sorry, Ron, but it's just how it works for me. Out of sight, out of mind. The only reason I remember Gary was because I was on the panel one night and he said blah 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 join and all that. I was like, oh shit, I can try and do that right now again, and it took. Um, so yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm. Ron
Yeah,
Wayne
kind
gives
of
away
like
knives too.
ducks.
Yeah, and Ron Wayne gives away knives too, barbecue. You're missing out on knives over there.
That's what I hear. I know.
He gives away
The other
more
problem
knives than
is
I do, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I give Gizzard all my money.
Hey, this
Well,
is
you
true.
do give me a lot. So,
But if you sign up for Ron Wayne's channel right now, he screwed up and he didn't have his big end of the month giveaway at the end of June, his last episode in June. So he's got to do that at the beginning of July.
Oh, mother of God.
So if you sign up now, you can win one of the really nice knives he gives away on Wednesday, potentially.
I could just go in, snipe it,
Mm-hmm.
unjoin next month after. No,
Ron
that would be a
says,
total dick move.
Ron says, no worries, barbecue. I still kind of like you.
I honestly, I think you like me more that I don't go to your shows. You're like, he's not so bad now.
Yeah. The chat ruiner's not here.
Yeah. You're like, how can he do it from the text chat? Like, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
He says he's snookering you. Who's snookering who here?
Who's snookered who? Who's being true? Who don't even care anymore? It's Alan Jackson.
Mm.
It's a good song. It's called
Do
Who's Cheating
right
Who? Or in
with
this case,
someone tonight, and whose car is parked next door.
Anyway, going
So
back
what's
to
on the agenda, Rich?
I'm getting
Yeah,
back to the
Rich.
article. I was getting ready to say something.
I was getting ready to say something.
I like
I
the
was, George,
fish
on
fried
it. I
taters.
swear, George.
Uh, I lost my train of thought again.
Oh, sure. Blame it on us. I see.
I will space him and love him and call him Kitty.
Uh, anyway, one way to get around the whole asylum thing having to be one country away is the TPS policy. Believe it or not. So the Haitians, even though they're more than one country away, or the Syrians, when they were under TPS, they had their TPS certification, they could have applied for asylum. And the dumbasses didn't. So yeah, there was a reason for doing both of these probably at the same time because they connect. You can connect both of these decisions together. I got a
Facts.
feeling is why they decided them when both at the same time. Ron says all this chaos makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I just joined Rich's chats just to see how much we can derail it.
I do
We're doing a
plenty
pretty good job tonight.
I do a good enough job of derailing it myself.
You do. You do.
It took an hour before we even got to the topics. So I derailed it talking about Maryland's stupid car law that they proposed, which, if you weren't listening, is a ban on cars older than 20 years or older, potentially.
That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Also, something where California may have proposed the same kind of thing. And California is also banning certain kinds of tires and specifying the tires have to be made a certain way. So, and it's expected to drive tire prices up, and it probably will do so across the country because you know damn well they're not going to make California only tires, just like they don't make California only cars. Which is
Right?
why everybody and their mother has to deal with the emissions for California, which completely and totally suck and fuck up
Used
our
to.
up.
They used to make California only cars.
Yeah. Well, they decided they were going to make them all California compliant.
They got California only guns.
Mm. Well, not anymore because California banned Glocks. Remember, the whole reason why Glock was still making the Gen 3 was because of California, because it was the only one you could get in California. Now they just went and banned them all together. You know, just like Maryland did. It's funny, California does something and Maryland does it too.
Funny
Are
how
they
that
the
works.
same state?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that cloud.
It's a satellite state. You know, used to have satellite countries of the Soviet Union. Well, California's got its own satellite states. Maryland's one of them. Ron says the AI bots listening in have already shorted out and caught fire.
They don't bother listening to this show.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
Where are all the bots anyway? Because
Mm-hmm.
Hillbilly had all kinds of bots on his show last night. I think you need to have a few more subs so you can get bots. If you do more cat videos, you'd have bots.
I was gonna say his bots would end up being cats.
Packrat says in California, all paint has to be water based, including car paint. I don't know how well that would work.
What?
It would eventually wash off, you would think. Ron Wayne says he misses lead paint. It had a distinguished taste to it. I guess I can get this off the screen.
Dear computer, please work.
All right. So,
So
I don't know. Vulcan Rebel says Nevada uses California standards also. On what? Everything? I don't know. Yeah. If you look at your window sticker for your Escape, it may say California emissions on it.
I don't have a sticker.
And, oh, that's right. You said they didn't give it to you. I thought you said you found it.
Remember?
I thought you said you found it. 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 I thought you said you found it.
Mm-mm.
That it was in your paperwork.
I thought it was, but it's not.
Oh,
I was wrong.
Ah, shit! I just sneezed all over my screen. Damn it!
Cool.
I was too busy trying to mute and be polite,
mm.
so I wouldn't sneeze on air, and ended up sneezing all over my friggin' screen.
Oh, don't you hate when that happens?
Mm-hmm.
Or burp like I did on your show the other night because I thought I was muted.
Oh, you did that on my show? That's just
Yeah.
return for me doing it on your show Wednesday night. I thought I was muted. I was like, oh god, I just heard that really well. I was like, shit.
Yeah,
Sorry
Vulcan
about
Rumble
that,
says
folks.
Nevada uses California standards for car emissions. Vulcan Rumble says. Okay.
Oh,
Remember, like on Price is Right, they used to say, "And California emissions." Like that was a good thing. Whenever they were giving away a car.
so they had to.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Wasn't
they were
like
in
they had a
California.
choice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, but they always made California emissions sound like it was a good thing.
Fact
Like,
of the matter is, you never really got the car that was at the studio anyway. They would basically set you up with an order at another dealer and you had it
mhm.
shipped to you there. Most people never actually took delivery of the cars because first you had to pay about half of it in
Yeah, the
gift
sales
tax,
tax, sales tax is a bitch on that stuff.
Yep.
and the IRS agents are right there at the studio to settle up with you before you leave.
Hmm. You're always better off playing one of the games where you won money.
But there are also other people there who will gladly buy your prize off of you. And
Hmm.
so you usually leave with some money. But most people don't get the cars.
Nope. And the more expensive the car was, the less likely the people were to get it. Like all them that won the showcase, and there was be like a Corvette. They never saw that Corvette. They saw it in the studio, and that they got to sit in it for 5 minutes, and that was it.
I like when they started just doing it like, it's your brand new Honda Accord. I'm like, what the hell?
Yay.
Mhm.
A new Chevette. Yay.
It's a gremlin.
That happened once or twice. An AMC Gremlin.
God damn it.
Pontiac Sunbird.
It's a
Not
new
Pontiac, it's on
Edsel.
fire.
Oh, Amy was watching old reruns of Price is Right the other day, and one of the car they were giving away on Price is Right that episode was a Pontiac Sunbird, but it was the one with the 305 in it, which they didn't make very many of because nobody was buying them. The majority of them had the Buick V6 in it from the late 70s. What was it 78 and 79? I think they made the 305 one.
I had a 77 Chevy pickup with a 305 engine. That was actually run real good till I ran it out of oil. Then it didn't run so good anymore.
Mm, yeah,
That'll happen. That
yeah,
will happen.
yeah. That tends to be the case.
Made a lot of noise after that for some
Oh, I bet
reason.
it did, as it was slowly being torn apart.
It still start. It made a hell of a racket when you did it. That's a hell of a deal. I was driving it home from work one night and I got to the first curve after I left the plant and the oil light come on. Next thing I heard this bang, 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 bang. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you got to put oil in them things every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It had to have an oil leak in it.
Possible.
Well, I couldn't really tell you. This happened back in 1984. Yeah, 84, 85. While back. Sold that old truck to my buddy for $500.
You regret it every day, don't you?
No, I didn't want to fix it. Oh, it would be a cool truck to have now. There's a short bed.
All
I've
trucks
never
now are
liked
short
short
beds.
beds. It's disgusting.
You're not going to find anything today short of the like an F-250 or 2500 Chevy or Dodge, or excuse me, Ram, that has anything but a short bed in it.
Short bed Chevy C10.
I will say there's one way that a short bed does look good, but you've got to lift it and put some swampers on it.
Well, they're all short beds now because they're all crew cabs. You pretty much got a special order a single cab if you want a single cab. Otherwise, they're
Oh
all
yeah.
four door.
You know what that Maryland law is about?
Hmm.
They're trying to take down Toyota. If people would just stop driving around their damn Camrys from 1998.
And all the old pickup trucks that Rob keeps telling people to buy. You know, if Maryland is going to enact this kind of law, New York's going to be right behind them.
Yep.
Looks like Rob may have to buy a new car anyway. Uh-oh. Amy's not out there right now.
Here, I'm sharing screen with you.
Is that why he was so upset the other day?
There's my pickup. The Beast.
Well, it looks like Amy's dad's old beater that he used to go back and forth when he would be working in D.C. He had one very similar to that. His was a 305 too, if I remember right.
Had a lot of fun in that truck.
I'm not sure if we should ask any more questions about that or not, Rich.
You probably should.
Probably not. But who were you saying was upset the other day, Rob?
On Wednesday, yeah. I thought you were saying that he had to get a new truck.
I don't know. If
Oh,
New York,
okay.
I was just saying if New York follows Maryland and bans
Oh,
20-year-old
oh,
truck.
oh.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Buck Rumble says he's had oil pans and transmission covers and header ripped holes from edges of sewer covers in Boston. Damn. after he bottomed out in road repaving areas. Yeah. And good luck trying to sue the state for that shit, too. I've known people that have tried to sue Pennsylvania for that shit, and their cases are always thrown out. One guy I know had it happen. Judge flat out told him, "Well, you shouldn't have had your car sitting that low." Car wasn't sitting any lower than any other car. But yeah, good luck trying to sue the state for that kind of shit.
A lot of times people don't pay a damn bit of attention when they tell you to go slow through a road construction area and stuff like that. There's a lot of reasons
Mm-hmm.
why.
Mm-hmm.
This state, if you get caught speeding through road construction, it's double fines.
Oh, it's triple in Maryland and West Virginia.
Just don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Now you can't even use the excuse that your speedometer is busted because they got those nice little road signs that tell you exactly how fast you're going as you're entering the construction zone.
And if you're going too
You're
fast, sometimes they take your picture.
Mm-hmm.
you're responsible for knowing how fast you're going anyway. Just because your speedometer's not accurate, that's not an excuse.
No, but you'd be surprised how many people try and use it as one.
Yeah, you try. Those are not certified
Nope.
unless you've got a law enforcement vehicle with a certified speedometer. Well,
My stepfather got away with it the one time though. He was going downhill and the speedometer broke as he was going downhill, and cop pulled him over, or I should say, cop and his partner, because there were two cops in the car. He's like, "I can show you my speedometer's just broke." And the one cop's like, "All right, come on, let's go." The cop got in the passenger side and told my stepfather to gun it, so he gunned it, and the speedometer went nowhere. And was like, and so they pulled back over, and the officer got out, walked over to his partner. They talked for a little bit. He's like, "Okay, you can go, sir." He got lucky.
Well, here's the thing, though. The idea of, oh, well, you should know how fast you're going anyways, because, you know, the, the speedometer, I mean, granted, they're all fairly accurate. Are they going to be within a mile per hour? Probably not. But a couple miles per hour, absolutely. However, let's say, like, your speedometer said, hey, you were doing, 60 in a 60, but then you get pulled over because you were doing 70. Well, that's quite a bit difference. Now, that's a pretty extreme example. If I'm sure it's happened, but it doesn't happen often.
or
Um,
people replace their tires and don't put the same size tires back on there. That speedometer is calibrated to the tire size of that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You change the
yes,
tire size, you throw that speedometer off.
but even that only changes it by a couple miles per hour. And usually it's people making the tire size larger, which actually slows it down. So, and that's where it becomes an issue because if you slow down your speedometer, then you're going to be thinking you're doing 65, for example, but you're probably going to be doing more like 68.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And if you're only going 3 miles over the speed limit, they're not going to pull you over anyway.
Oh no,
Because
but the problem is, Pennsylvania has the 10% rule. Uh, you're supposed to get 10% of the speed limit that's posted, which is pretty generous. That really helps out with that discrepancy in the speedometer. So if you were doing the speed limit, ideally you should never have an issue. At least if what you thought was the speed limit according to your speedometer, then you should never have an issue. But you got people that are like, oh, I get 10% on, you know, most of the interstates now, and the speed limit 70, so I'm going to do 77. Really, really, you can get away with 78 because 10% of, oh no, it would be 77. Sorry, I was thinking back when we had the speed limit at 65, so people would do 72 because it would be 6.5, which would be 71.5, but the cops wouldn't touch you if you're only doing 72.
The reason, though, for such laws is because of speedometer variations.
Yes.
So if people are driving what they think is 72, it may be 70, it may be 75. So you don't get to add that to your speedometer speed.
I'll add whatever I want to add.
Hell, around here, you get on the highway, everybody's driving 10 miles over the speed limit anyway. If you
I
go
had
speed
a
limit, you're getting run over.
I had a highway patrolman tell me one time, he said, no, he said, actually, the limit's the limit. He said, there's no such thing legally as an allowance for speed. He said, now, functionally, yes, we probably will, but there's no law in the state of Kansas that says you're allowed to drive 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. He said, we can ticket you for 1 mile an hour speed limit if we want to. We probably won't, but we can. A lot of people also think if you're in the passing lane, you're allowed to go 5 mile an hour faster. No, you're not.
No.
Well, yeah, and like with that, because like I said, here in PA, with the way it was explained to me by a state police officer, they're supposed to give you 10%. However, if they're looking for a reason to pull you over, oh, you were 2 miles over the speed limit, license, registration, proof of insurance, like, and that's where it comes in. Just because they have a general standard of this is what we do because of that, they have no problem taking in using a small deviation over the speed limit to pull over a vehicle that they want to pull over. It's kind of like, I don't know about West Virginia or Kansas, but here in PA, you can't have anything hanging from your rear view mirror. So if you got something hanging from your rear view mirror and they're looking for a reason to pull you over, boom, they'll hit you with that.
Yep. I've seen that happen in PA. Somebody will have an air freshener or something.
Now,
I
the
was
same trooper told me, he said, the general rule that most troopers use is 5 over, you're fine, 10, you're mine.
I was in the car with my aunt the one time, and she had a rosary hanging from her mirror. This was when I was a kid, and sure enough, we were going down I-79 up near Wexford, and state trooper pulled over because she had a rosary hanging from her. Told her to take it off, or somebody else might not be so nice and ticket her for it. So she took it off of there. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know. Thank you, officer."
There is no such law in my state, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, in PA, you cannot have anything hanging from the rearview mirror.
Correct.
It's a distraction.
Which the BS about it is, it's not in your line of view for your window box, as they call it. Like if you had a crack in your windshield that hung down, 3 inches from where your rearview mirror is mounted, that would never get you disqualified from an inspection or anything. You would never fail an inspection for that in Pennsylvania because it's not in your window box.
Yeah, it's a silly law, but it's there.
Again, it's just one of those ones that's used to, pull somebody over when they
Hmm.
want or need to. Here's a reason. Boom. Yeah, it's
Yep.
like window tint these days. Oh, you
Oh
want to
yeah.
check your window tint?
Yeah. Well, window tint's always been a thing in PA.
Oh yeah.
My brother used to insist that if a cop wanted to, if your window tint was too dark, they could break your car window. It's like, Jesus Christ, you fucking idiot.
Okay.
Mm, no, what they would
No.
do is have you peel it right there on the side of the highway, and I have
Hmm. Yeah, they're
heard
not going to
about plenty
break
of
your
people that have done
window.
that.
Yes. Feel the.
And if you refuse to peel it, they'll just tow your vehicle.
Yep. They're not going to break your window.
Although I can remember back in well, Rich probably remembers barbecue wasn't, but back in the 80s, it became really popular for pickup owners to put these murals on the back windows of their
Hmm.
pickups
Hmm.
that you could not see through at all from the back.
Hmm. Yeah.
That was
And
a thing when I
after a couple of
was.
years or so, then they banned those. But yeah, that used to be real popular.
Which, if you think about it, it's no different than driving a cargo van. It doesn't have a goddamn rear window anyway, or a U-Haul. There's no rear window in a U-Haul.
No, the idea was you couldn't see into the passenger compartment.
Mhm.
People could literally drink beer if a cop was behind you and they couldn't see you.
Well, the funny thing now is, at least in PA, it's only the driver's window that can only be so tinted. All the other windows, aside from the windshield, of course,
Mhm.
which I've heard recently about people that tint windshields. I'm like, what? That just seems like a terrible idea in the first place.
Well, some luxury cars have auto tinting windshields that use basically the same thing as like the
Well,
eyeglasses
that
that
one
auto tint.
I could
Yeah,
kind of understand.
yeah, yeah. Putting actual window tint on a windshield is kind of stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, hard pass.
What sucks is transitions don't work on sunlight coming through a car window because they are ultraviolet treated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ultraviolet part of the sunlight that tints your eyeglasses if you got the transitions lenses. Grim Reapers out there, and Justin says, "You live in Arizona, you want the whole car tinted." Yeah, Arizona would be a good one to get the transition windshield. Southern California, probably you would probably want something like that. Parts of New Mexico.
It used to be back in the 70s and 80s, they would tint the tops of windshields. So it'd be a gradual tint.
Hmm. Yeah,
It'd be dark and then it would go
Yep.
away after about the first 3 or 4 inches. You don't see
yeah.
that too much anymore.
No, you don't.
No.
But it got rid of a lot of that sunlight when the sun's right over the top of you beating down.
Hmm.
'Cause that glare can be a bitch.
Hmm. I don't know what's worse. Coming out of the rain into where all of a sudden the clouds are gone and you got the sun beating down and it's glaring through the raindrops that are still on the windshield, or a dirty
Smoking
wind
and
or a dirty
rain.
windshield where you got the glare coming through a dirty windshield. Both of those are worse than a clean windshield. the glare. Ron Wayne essentially wants a tank. He says he wants steel windows with gun ports.
I like it. I support this idea.
Ron Wayne's going to be out there on the weekend doing his Mr. T impression from the A-Team. He's going to get the haircut and pretend it's B.A. Baracus.
I pity the fool who
Hannibal!
don't have a tank like me.
I'm not getting on that helicopter, Hannibal! And he fell for it every single time.
I cut my hair today. It's too damn hot out there.
I'm growing my beard back out.
Oh, yeah?
Terrible time of year to start doing that.
Yeah. It'll be fun. But you'll be all ready for winter when it comes.
Exactly.
I'm probably not. But you go right ahead.
Ron Wayne says, I pity the bug that hits my windshield. Yeah. Falcon Rumble wants his own train.
Yeah.
He thinks he's Jim West.
Wild Wild West. Jim West. Desperado.
Justin says Gary needs a mohawk.
Gotta have hair long enough to have a mohawk. Besides, the stripe would only start halfway back the head, so I don't think that'd work too well.
Justin said it felt like 100 in Iowa today.
Oh, God.
Well, it's going to be getting that way this way.
I know. Don't remind me.
Mm-hmm. It's heading this way.
I say they're calling for on the 4th of July. It's supposed to push to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' El Nino.
Ron Wayne says Mr. T could take a welder in an old windmill and make a K car into a tank. How many different school buses did they put armor plating on that show? Then the next week, the bad guys will be using that school bus. And they would flip it. Something about Central America, man. There were ramps all over the place for them to jump cars and flip cars. It's just the same Jeep flipping over and over. Yeah. And they would use the same stock footage in every episode of the cars flipping. Depending on where they were at. Like if they were in some place in the US, it would be a car. If they were supposed to be in Central or South America, it would be a Jeep. Ron says he likes how they would weld car rims on the front for a brush guard or just hubcaps. They would put hubcaps on the doors as armor. Like a hubcap's going to stop a bullet. And yet no one got off. Yep, no one ever died on that show. More people, I think, died in the G.I. Joe cartoon than ever died on the A-Team. If people forget G.I. Joe cartoon was violent as all hell. There are always cobras getting killed on that show.
Who was the real life G.I. Joe, Gary?
I don't know.
All right, go ahead, tell him, Rich.
Well, there were a couple different people, or even animals that fall into that category. There was G.I. Joe, who was a carrier pigeon during World War One. There was a reporter during World War II that was known as G.I. Joe, and there were a couple other guys. So, which one are you speaking of
I was talking about
specifically?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was a G.I. Joe. The best part is, it was when he was a bad guy, too. He turned heel in the middle of that run on the G.I. Joe cartoon.
Well, not by his choice. He was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Vince was pissed because he
That's
wasn't
why he
getting a
quit.
cut of the action.
That's
So
why
he's like, "Fuck you! Check this
yeah,
out."
that's why Slaughter quit the WWE or WWF at the time, went back over to the AWA because Vince turned him heel in the middle of the GI Joe run, and Hasbro was pissed because Hasbro considered suing Vince McMahon for contract violation, but they settled out of court. Vince had to pay him like 500 grand or some shit. So if you look at the Sergeant Slaughter with his tank, the toy,
Mm-hmm.
some of them have the WWF logo on them, and some of them don't. And the ones that have the logo, if you got one unopened, are worth more because they're rare.
Oh yeah, those were selling for big bucks now.
Mm-hmm. I remember when that happened. It was all over the wrestling magazines back then. That was before the internet. If you wanted to find out any of the behind the scenes stuff, you had to buy the wrestling magazines. Ron Wayne's like Baroness. Yeah, I think Baroness probably was a crush for a lot of kids back then. That tight leather outfit she wore and that accent of hers. Plus, she was the bad girl.
All right, this is the part where I think we need to give Rich some privacy.
I'm not the one that brought it up. Ron Wayne did. Packer says, who didn't sue Vinny? Yeah, Vince got sued by a lot of people.
Happening right now.
Mm.
Actually, he's getting sued twice. I say the one is him directly. The other one isn't just him. It's what is it? Endeavor, the Endeavor Group, Vince, uh, Triple H, what's his face, Khan. so many cons in the
Yeah, and they're not related either.
yeah, it's weird.
uh But it's the other one, the sexual assault allegations. That's not just Vince being sued either. That's him, um, John Laurinaitis,
It
and
was John Laurinaitis until John Laurinaitis was like, "I'll sing like a canary if I get immunity."
Brock Lesnar was implicated in that one too.
He was. Well, let's say it was a former UFC World Heavyweight Champion, which
Gee, there's only two that ever were in WWE,
exactly,
and one was a female, and that wasn't until after that. So
she
yeah,
wasn't even a heavyweight champion. What the hell was
no,
she? Bantam? Something like that.
yeah, something like that. Women's bantamweight or some shit.
Well, what's his face was there for a brief second. Oh shit.
Matt Riddle,
Oh, Riddle was there,
but he wasn't heavyweight champ.
No. Who the hell was it? I can't think of it.
There have been a couple of MMA guys, but not at that time period.
Yeah, no, this one was actually a big name one. I don't think it would have been quite the right time period.
And you had Ken Shamrock.
Oh no! I say this was in the 2020s. I just can't remember who the hell it was. I say Ken Shamrock was an absolute badass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you ever see his fight versus Dan Severn?
Oh, Dan Severn was a badass too.
Oh, that guy! Holy shit!
Yeah. Dan Severn was carrying around the NWA 10 pounds of gold at the same time he was carrying around the UFC heavyweight championship. That guy was a badass and a half. And Vince made a joke of him, which was terrible. What Vince did to him. The only other MMA guy I could think of that would have been in WWE around the 2020s would have been Bobby Lashley, and he wasn't in UFC.
No,
Lashley was in the other one, Bellator.
yeah,
I mean, the only one that could possibly apply to would be Lesnar.
I keep
It's
wanting
like,
to say well, no, it was Lesnar, but I want to say Tito Ortiz was in there at one point, but I don't think it was Ortiz.
no, there was one guy who I can't remember if it was if he was in AEW or WWE, but he was only there for like one match, and then he got in trouble out in California for gun possession.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
Who the hell was that?
I can't remember his fucking name. I
That's
remember what
exactly
they
who I was
arrested him
thinking of.
for. He went after a guy who went after his kid.
Cain Velasquez. There it is.
Yeah, that's it.
I started Googling it. Yes, Cain Velasquez. Ortiz Velasquez. I mean, it's basically one and the same.
But was it WWE he was in, or was it AEW?
No, it's WWE.
Was it WWE?
Yep.
Okay. That was about the same time when WWE was doing shit with what's his face, the boxer, Tyson Fury.
Yeah, what but and the sad thing about the Cain Velasquez thing is he finds out that this was going on. So he is out for blood, but then he kills the wrong fucking person. Somebody completely innocent. It's like, fuck. And this is why we have laws against vigilantism, folks.
Packard says Bobby Lashley's dad was one of his drill sergeants.
Really?
Yeah, Lashley comes from a military family. He's not the only one in his family that's been in the military. So, wouldn't surprise me.
I'd say he was a Ranger, wasn't he?
Who, Lashley?
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a Ranger or not. I know he was the Armed Forces heavyweight champion in wrestling, amateur wrestling. He's another one of those guys where you don't want to actually get into a real wrestling fight with this guy. He's going to tear you to pieces. Him, Kurt Angle, Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
Brock Lesnar. Those guys could tie you up into so many knots and you wouldn't know what the hell to do. Chad Gable's another one. And Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin was Brock Lesnar's training partner in college.
Shelton Benjamin, animal.
Uh-huh. Which tells you just how badass Brock Lesnar actually is. Those two were both going to the University of Minnesota, and Brock Lesnar's the one that won the national championship.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, the University of Minnesota is the mecca of college wrestling. That's the school you want to go to if you're serious about amateur wrestling.
Not a fucking chance. It's always been Iowa up until about 15 years ago, and Cael Sanderson turned the entire world of college wrestling on its head and went to Penn State. Now Penn State is where it's at, and oh my God.
I think it depends on who you ask. There's a lot of people who say Minnesota.
No, it was always Iowa. Iowa, Oklahoma were always big ones. Really, Iowa and Oklahoma, like back in the 90s, 80s, those were the schools. Even in the early 2000s, Iowa, that was the place. Hell, there's a you ever hear of Young Guns out of Monroeville, Rich?
Wait, you got to remember, we're talking with Lashley and Lesnar. That would have been in the 90s.
Yeah. Let's say, just because they had one national champion, let's say, look at Iowa's list. Fucking bonkers. I mean, it's not like Minnesota's a slouch or anything. They're still a D1 school, but it wasn't on the same level as Iowa or anything. Hell, even what's the other Iowa school? Iowa State. Even them, like the two states in the entire country that have the biggest high school wrestling lineage, Pennsylvania and Iowa. I really think Pennsylvania is probably number one, hands down. And you'll hear other states around Pennsylvania try and throw themselves in there, like, oh yeah, we wrestle Pennsylvania kids. But then when it went to college, the Hawkeyes is where you wanted to be. But like I said, even Iowa State themselves, pretty serious program. Oklahoma Cowboys, again, another really serious program. And like I said, like you'd have guys from Penn State, Virginia Tech, Minnesota, a lot of D1 schools that would still turn out some guys, but not like these other couple. But like I said, back in, it's been, I think, 15 years now. So it would have been 2011. Cael Sanderson went to Penn State, and shit's never been the same. In 15 seasons, he's won 12 national championships. That's not like, because he's the coach. So that means Penn State themselves, 12 out of 15 of the last years, has won the national title for the NCAA Division I nationals. With that, the last 2-3 seasons, they've broken the overall team record. So 2 or 3 seasons ago, they broke the team record. Then the season after, they broke their own record, and then they just broke their own record again this year. Last season, they had 10 All Americans. By the way, there's only 10 weight classes in college wrestling. Fucking Penn State, nobody can touch them. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, even that, Penn State is usually only turning out, if they're lucky, 2, maybe 3 national champions a season right now. Because again, to have a national champion, there, a lot of good wrestlers out there. They can't have everybody. But even that, they still have basically everybody on the podium at nationals. Iowa usually ranked number 2 every season. Penn State at this point is the perennial number 1. When Penn State and Iowa meet in meets, the score is usually like 33-3, 36-0, shit like that. And that 3-point win for Iowa, all that means is that they won by decision, which means it just period ended, or all 3 periods ended. It might have gone to overtime even, and like there's different things, but either way, the score in that match was less than a 10-point difference. If it's 10 points or higher, then you get a major decision. Then you got a tech fall at 15 points. You've got tech pins. You got the pin, obviously. Tech pin is where that one's actually a really neat one to get, because you actually time everything out right, where when you roll the guy again to get your back points, you're still able to score the pin as well. So you get your back points. That takes you up to the 15 plus. And if you can pick up the pin as well, you just get some bonus points out of it. It's pretty sweet. So, yeah, Penn State right now, nobody can touch them. Let's say all the schools that are ranked number 2 in the nation, that they if they're lucky, will put up 6 points against Penn State in a duel.
He's just being a homer, folks.
I wish.
I'm
I say, because here's the sad thing. I've always been an Iowa Hawkeye fan.
Now, Tacker out there says Batista was in UFC. I don't remember Batista being in UFC. Do you?
Oh, I don't know if it was UFC. I do remember hearing that he had a couple MMA fights though.
Yeah, I thought with Bellator. I thought.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who it was with. I'm not even sure if it was with Bellator. Because there's a couple other, I guess you could call them big, sanctions, governing bodies, whatever. But obviously none of them hold a candle to UFC. The only one that can even try is Bellator. But there's a couple other somewhat big ones, I guess you could say.
Yeah. CM Punk tried it and got his ass kicked royally.
Oh my god! And the worst part is now, like, he thinks he's this just badass fighter. I'll kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Jake Hager, I think, had one UFC fight, and then he did some fighting with Bellator. He's undefeated.
Yeah.
I'll give the guy that.
Yeah.
He didn't lose.
I'm not sure if he ever fought in the UFC or not.
I think he did one.
But he's another one where, his professional wrestling career dwindled, and he was like, okay, I'm going to go fight.
Mm-hmm.
But he's another one, friggin' collegiate All-American wrestler.
From Oklahoma in his case.
Yes. Yep.
Remember back in the 80s when they were bringing up Oklahoma because Steve Williams went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He was a badass too until he got knocked out during the Brawl for All.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And poor Bart Gunn, man. Vince was so pissed off that he knocked out Steve Williams that he basically just killed his career right then and there.
Well, even Butterbean's like, you know what? Bart would have had a chance against me if he just went out and fought me like he did against Doctor Death, because he's like, I've never faced anything like that. He's like, I really can't say how I would have done that. That would have been a friggin' nightmare. He's like, but he actually tried to box me,
Yeah,
and
and
he's like,
he was scared too because of what Vince did to him when he knocked out Williams as it was. The fight against Butterbean was basically his punishment for knocking out Steve Williams and screwing up Vince's plan. If it wouldn't have been for Vince and that fight with Butterbean was on the level, he probably would have whooped Butterbean's ass. Think if Vince wouldn't been so vindictive, who knows where Bart Gunn would have went.
yeah. Well, the other thing that killed Bart Gunn was getting knocked out by Butterbean. Like, how does he come back after that? He doesn't.
Well, again, that was
Everybody saw him
basically
get laid out for a shoot.
basically Vince told him to throw the fight.
I never heard
Or
that story. I heard
yeah,
like they actually for like 6 weeks trained up Bart, and he was going to try and actually fight
yeah.
Butterbean. Not like it wasn't rigged or anything. It was legit,
Well,
just like all the brawl for all.
Billy Gunn
And
has stated that Vince basically told Bart he had to throw the fight or he was going to fire him.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they were still, I believe, they were still a tag team at that point. Or Billy had just left him to go be with Road Dogg. I forget
Yeah, I'm not
which,
sure.
but it was around that time period. So, yeah.
Gary, don't let us use all the words. Say something.
Yes, no, maybe, possibly. I don't know any of these people of which you speak.
The only thing you need to look up is Cale Sanderson and Penn State.
You don't know who Butterbean is?
You will be
Oh
astonished.
yeah, I've met his son. He was at Thunder on the Prairie a couple of years ago.
Butterball had no eyebrows. It is weird. They were tattooed on, from what I hear. Is there even anybody watching this at this point?
Uh, yeah, two on YouTube and one mystery person on Rumble. There were
Ugh.
three still on YouTube, but one just dropped. But it is going on 11. It's after 11:30 here, and there are people that are going to have to get up for work in the morning. So I'm not surprised that the viewership would drop off right about now, because usually it does. Around 11:30, we start losing people.
Well, yeah, this isn't the closer.
But interestingly enough, usually this is where we start picking up people on X, and sure enough, there's three people over there on X right now. So
Hmm.
even into you folks. It's weird how that works. We start losing people on one platform and gaining on another. On X, there's live streams going on 24 hours a day over there.
Yeah.
I swear, you just get people over there that go from one live stream to another. They just look to see what's live and jump on and see if it fits their fancy or not. Pat Grat says Lashley's record was 15-2. think Jake Hager was like,
Really?
yeah, Hager was like 5-0, 6-0, something like that.
When the hell did Lashley lose any? 'Cause last I had heard, he was like 15-0. So,
He
I
lost
wonder
two.
if
He
you know what?
lost
I wonder
two
if
towards the end.
he went back and fought a couple when he went to AEW.
I don't know if he did or not. But he had to have lost one his original run because he was the heavyweight champ and then he wasn't. So either he would have gave the title up or he had to have lost it. So he would have had to have lost at least one and then unless he had to surrender it when he went back to WWE.
That's a good possibility. Because the thing is, like, if he had one last fight and then happened to lose, that would have caused so much commotion. Like, oh, they rigged this so he didn't have the belt when he went back.
Mm-hmm.
But with that too, I don't think Vince would take him back then because you know he's signing a loser.
Well, you would never took Lesnar back in that case.
Oh, Lesnar was several years removed, and like, yeah, you can say he lost, but friggin', you know, there's the asterisk with the diverticulitis, um, and even then, Lesnar was
Oh,
such a box office compared to Lashley.
but would he have signed Rousey at that point then? Because she had just come off of getting her ass whooped.
Well, how long was it after she had lost?
Not that long. A year, maybe two at most.
Google them. See how long it was after
Because she
Rousey
had
lost.
lost the title and then she went and lost the next fight after that, even
Yep.
worse.
Yep. Then, um, it'd be interesting. I don't know.
Just over a year after she lost, she signed with the title. She lost. She signed with WWE.
Check out when Lashley suffered his first loss. That'd be interesting. I don't know. Maybe the other thing is like Lashley losing. They're like, whatever. Nobody watches Bellator.
Let's see. Lashley's. He did not lose. His two losses happened in earlier promotions: a 2010 TKO defeat and a regional circuit loss. Doesn't say in
Oh,
what federation. So he had lost those two fights before he ever joined Bellator.
so technically they didn't count because they weren't probably considered professional fights at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Oh, it lists his record as 15-2. Yeah, he lost the 2010 TKO, not in TKO, which what to Chad Griggs in Strike Force in Houston in 2010, and to James Thompson in Dixie Wrecking MMA in 2012. But neither one of those have I ever heard of.
Hmm.
But in Bellator, he was 15-0. So yeah, if he lost the Bellator's championship, it was because he had to surrender it. Probably when he went back to WWE, or if he had an injury. But I don't remember him being injured during his TNA run, which would also have been his Bellator run, because there are pictures of him with both the Bellator championship on one shoulder and the TNA championship or Impact at that point on the other on his other shoulder. His first Bellator fight was a second round submission over Josh Burns on September 5th, 2014. Five of his wins were by KO, TKO, and 7 by submission, which means only 3 of them would have been by decision. It's not a man you want to get into a fight with.
No.
No. Um, Ron Pecker says Rousey is now in AEW. No, she's not officially in AEW. She had one appearance for the company and she got booed out of the building.
I really hope they don't sign her. I could give a shit less about AEW, but I mean, she is the definition of a mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't give her the reaction that she believes that she should get, she marks out for herself even harder. It's disgusting.
Well, one of the reasons why she was there was she was making an appearance and to help her friend, real life friend Marina Shafir, who is signed to AEW. And Shafir was a heel at the time, so the response that Rousey got was justified.
Yes.
But yeah, people were saying that Rousey was signed to AEW, and at the end of the last pay per view during their media scrum thing, Tony Khan set the record straight that no, she's not signed to the company, and she was only making one appearance, and that was it. That's all she was signed to do was one appearance. That she does not have a long term contract with the company, and he's not sure if she will. So take that for what it's worth.
Right.
And I watch AEW every week, and Rousey has never appeared in the company again after that one appearance. Anyway, we're coming up on midnight here, going on 3 hours, so I guess we can start wrapping this up. Gizzard, you got anything you want to plug, sir?
Other than I hear guns are cool. Um, Tomorrow night on my channel, Foul Territory. Maybe these same fellers will be there at, well, less than 24 hours from now, be at 9 o'clock Monday night. So be there. Otherwise, thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem. What about you, Mr. Barbecue, sir?
I'd like to remind everybody, Rich does not know a lot about amateur wrestling.
Nope, never said I did.
So we'll have that. Rich was wrong. You're welcome. That being said, Be sure to tune into Gary's show tomorrow night. It's going to be exhilarating. He's giving Ray a crooked river. No, he's not, but it sounded good, didn't it? Just for a second. So that being said, I got nothing. Have a great night.
I may not know a lot about collegiate wrestling, but I do know a lot about professional wrestling. And Minnesota is a hotbed for pro wrestling, or at least it was.
It
You look at
was, yes.
you look at all the freaking Hall of Famers that came out of the state of Minnesota. It's a laundry list of names.
Who do you think is, other than Lesnar, who do you think is the biggest?
Oh Christ, Ric Flair.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about Flair. Honestly, my thought was the Road Warriors.
Yeah, you forget Ric Flair is actually from Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I 100% forgot. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, shit.
And you had Rick Rude.
Mm-hmm.
You said the Road Warriors. Christ. Kurt Hennig.
Yep.
His father. The Gagnes. Vern anyway.
Yeah. Let's say Hogan spent some time up there for a little bit.
Well, yeah, he was in the AWA before Vince took him from
Gagne.
Yeah. Oh, Gagne letting him walk was the biggest mistake he ever made in his life. It killed the AWA. They spent the 80s trying to catch up and could not do it. And part of the problem was Vern Gagne wouldn't change his style either.
Oh, yeah, that was part of the issue.
Yeah, by the time he finally decided to try, it was way too late.
Oh, here's one for you. Going back to amateur wrestling, the Briscoes, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyway, there's more people out of Minnesota that came out of Minnesota for wrestling right now.
There's a good chunk.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You got guys today coming out of Minnesota still going into pro wrestling. Well, Chad Gable, I believe, is from Minnesota.
That wouldn't surprise me. But so here's another Minnesota wrestler that we didn't talk about. He did wrestle in WWE for a very brief time. That's Gable Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
And say Olympic gold medalist, 3-time NCAA champion. Went for his 4th one, but he lost to Wyatt Hendrickson.
And complete douchebag, apparently.
Everything that I've gathered, like, yeah,
not a good guy. Which is why WWE never actually put him on TV.
Well, part of the issue was right after he got signed by WWE, he had some SA allegations.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's just tearing it up in UFC. It's a fucking nightmare for people. Like,
What sucks though, his antics got his brother cut from WWE too.
Oh, I didn't know his brother was in.
Yep. His brother was in NXT.
Did not know that.
Yep. And right after they cut him, they cut his brother too.
Oh, they probably signed his brother because they wanted to get him in the first place.
His brother was doing good though. His brother was progressing. He was making progress. Booker T said they should never cut him.
And say, when it comes down to it, they're like, oh, hold on, we can get another Olympic gold medalist. And the thing is, then I don't think Angle had retired yet. So they could have done an Angle with them. But
not completely, no. Yeah, quite yet.
Part of the problem for Gable Stevenson was he wasn't ready to walk away from the amateur stuff. Then WWE got tired of dicking around with that, and they're like, nope, see ya. So then he did another year of that. Then he went and tried his hand at NFL, and he actually did pretty damn good. He made I think one of the final cuts with the Buffalo Bills. Like, the guy's a freak athlete. 285 pounds, and he runs out to the mat and does a friggin' backflip.
Yeah, imagine what they could have had with him versus Braun Breaker right now.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they just made up some collegiate background or, amateur wrestling background for Braun, because of his dad and uncle's lineage there. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Be incredible.
I still think instead of cutting Rick Boogs, I should have made him a Steiner. That was the guy that was coming out with Shinsuke Nakamura with the guitar.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like a Steiner. He looked like he could be a Steiner. Let's say he's a family cousin or some shit. Put him and Braun together.
Mm-hmm.
Steiner's 2.0 right there, man.
That's right.
Well, anyway, on that note, we will bid you all adieu for this week. Thank you all for coming and watching, and those of you who commented for commenting. And as Gizzard Gary said, we will hopefully see you tomorrow night for his show over on the Gizzard Gary channel on YouTube and where else, Gizzard? Where are you going to be this week?
We will be on Twitch and Rumble, like just last week.
All right. Well, you heard it from the man himself. If you can't watch on YouTube, Rumble or Twitch. And we will see you then. Have a good night, everybody.
Shall not be infringed.
Later.
Went golfing today. I think I played that's not the golf I played. It's pretty great. Got to do more line on it. Suck my white ass ball. This is a really long outro.